All right, good morning. Another day of big volatility, I'm sure. Another day where I'm gonna try to be cautious and take good trades. Probably gonna wait till for another 5 minutes or so before taking a trade, just to let this market settle in a little bit. I took one little trade there right before they open, right before the stream, right after they open, right before the stream started. Just targeting the yesterday's close at 13. I got in, I think, at like 3 or so, somewhere around there. Copy trader had issues again, so it only filled on one account. Made like $43 on that one, and then didn't fill on the others. So in fact, it filled the other way when I closed it. So I lost like $2 in the rest of my accounts. But And I just realized I was muted that whole time. So to repeat, this morning right before the stream, I put on a trade right here about looks like 8 points or so, 8 or 9 points. Trade copier had issues, so it only filled on the one account. And so I made $43 on the one account, and then I lost $2 on the rest of the accounts. But I also got payout approved on the 2 accounts that I had requested the other day. So I'll be trading those again today. So trading 16 accounts today. All right, let's see if that's all the bears or the bulls have. It'll be interesting. All right, so momentum has turned down. Technically, turned down on stochastics on both of these now, but we're still in an uptrend, still trying higher. So there's still nothing for me to do yet. At the moment, the only thing I'm really thinking is if we get more confirmation of a turn down, I'll think about short. And I'm not thinking long here, just because of stochastics, where we are there, the way that's turning over. I'm not really thinking long here. I'm just looking for really high quality setups, and a high quality long would be some sort of pullback. We've got stochastics turning back up, not where it's kind of peaking and turning down, and we're near the highs. Not what I'm looking for right now. Market still seems like it wants to push higher here. We'll see if it can go make a newer or a higher high. Still not seeing any trades that pop out at me. That's what I'm really gonna focus on today. Just take the trades that really pop out. Like it's so obvious, can't help, I have to take them. I'm not seeing that yet. Wholesale inventories just came out. That was that little spike up in volume. Looks like actual 0.3%, forecast was 0.4%. So if you're long in Q, yesterday's point of control is kind of an obvious target. Yes. Maybe there's a high volume area. I mean, right at the figure, 5100, kind of, I guess, the most obvious. Next one. All right, I might give NASDAQ a shot here. I think I am. Just going for the point of control. All right, I got out there. That little spike higher. Wasn't it like, what is that? Like 60 something. Got out at right around like 80 something. Yeah, 65. I was in at 65-ish and then out at 81-ish. And then, yeah, so that was a good exit based on this. But yeah, chop. You gotta take your wins sometimes. I don't know. Just taking that early may have helped me because I would be stopped out by now. All right, so you can see this trend line on the 1 minute. If that starts to break down, bears might gain some traction and we might be looking more towards short. We've got stochastics up here that kind of turned down and it looks like it's getting that rounded look. I'd say that might be the decent look right there. Let me see this one. Yeah. What time is it? 8:06. Might give this, I'm gonna give this a shot on ES, I think. Short. See if we can get in. All right, I'm in right here. All right, just went ahead and took that one off. Another little scalp there. That seems to be working for me. Let's see, so I was in at 33.50. I got out around 27.50 or 28. Like 5 points or so. Just a quick little move. We'll see if it can make makes a lower high, maybe on this like 1 minute area. Right around, if it makes a lower high somewhere in here, comes back down in this like 40 to 35 area again, it might be worth another shot. Short. All right, I'm in there. And out for the scalp. Let's see. So I shorted at 39 and got out at 31.75. Probably go lower, but this is working for me, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I just took another one for about 5 points, 28.75 to 23. Just gonna keep doing that. Well, there we go though, there's the turn. So we're right at the value area high on the day for both of these. Maybe it just found a little bit of support there. There's also yesterday's close area in ES. So there might be some support in this area. But overall, to me, it does look like it's ready to go down. Looks like it's really ready to turn. Maybe the next target you would go for is VWAP, 49.83, NASDAQ 17.167. You held those would be solid wins. So still looking like it may have found some support here. Not enough to get bullish for me. But it's enough to keep me out from getting short. I need something clearer than shorting at support, potential support. And so when you get in those areas, that's when you kind of gotta pause and think, is this where I want to get short? A good strategy sometimes is if you still think that it's got a lot to go, but it's sitting at maybe potential support. If you're trying to be short, is let it come down, bounce around, see what it does. If it keeps making lower highs, if it keeps testing it, and then maybe breaks through the low a little bit, that's a good way to get into the trade. Same way on the upside. It works both ways. So if it actually finds some support in that area, it would make sense for NASDAQ to target yesterday's point of control. Yes. You could target the highs, the figure 5100. It's kind of looking like it wants to curl over and keep going higher. I'm not quite convinced yet, and I'm just trying to take clear, obvious trades at the moment. Trades that are obvious to me. So we're not quite there yet. I mean, you saw that last little sequence. It came all the way down again, got very close to that low again, like that's probably like a tick in ES, and then it immediately reversed higher. So it hasn't quite figured out what it wants to do yet, and there's just a lot a lot going on in here. I could see the argument for a trade long here, based off of that support and based off of how those bars are closing right here on the 5 minute on both of these. I could see that, you know, maybe you would try. I don't know. Yeah, I could see it being worth a try. You would really have to actually hold it and target those point of controls or those targets higher for that to be worth it. I mean, that's like a 20 point or so stop in ES, which, you know, it's not, that's kind of tight given the way this market moves right now. I could see it though, but I could also see it go down. I could also see that being the lower high right there. That's the lower high. So it's kind of just trying to figure out what it wants to do here. And I don't have a whole lot of edge in this spot. A less disciplined version of me would probably get long here, but I'm gonna hold off right now. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to push. I don't need to, you know, just take trades to take trades. I don't need to make any money at this point in the day. So it makes sense for me to take my time and take good setups. That's the mindset. In the moment, they made sense to take. On every single one of those, when I took them, I was thinking even further than it got. But I don't think, let's see. Probably I would have been stopped out I don't know if I would have been stopped out in this short, but I would have been definitely stopped out in this long in NASDAQ. So the timing on all of those was very good, where it just immediately went my way, and it went there so quickly that, you know, I just was tempted enough to take them, and it worked out for me. And I can, that's something you can do. I can do every day. If I'm just patient and wait for those kind of obvious setups and wait for the just right timing. You can take these little scalps repeatedly, and have a good day and have a good week. Okay, see, look, like now, it's like at this moment, it looks like it's ready to drop lower, but it still isn't breaking through those lows. It could go either way here. So I'm gonna go take a coffee break, get some coffee, and give it some time to figure out what it wants to do. All right, I'm back. So oil inventories just came out, and then now, yeah, I'd say this looks more bullish for sure. You could definitely target point of control on NASDAQ. You could target the figure 5100 on ES. That ended up being support, or at least it looks like it currently. Yeah. That looks like that could be worth a trade. If I can figure out an entry. So it was good I waited. Like I said, I had to figure out an entry, and waiting to figure out an entry just shows me it's still chopping essentially, and there's no direction. I mean, if it came back up again and maybe consolidated a couple times higher, put in some wicks in here, you know, like maybe Yeah, it'd have to like kind of build some volume right around this 57 area. But that was a big pullback. Basically pulled back right into the meat of all of this. So it tells me the market still hasn't quite figured it out. Still looks, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah. In my head, I can make an argument for both sides. I could say this is a lower high. That's a lower high, pretty significant. Got rejected. I mean, that's a significant area right there. Previous overnight high just got rejected again. And now we're coming down. So that, bear case, you could argue that, yeah, lower high. So things are reversing. Momentum's definitely going to the downside. Bull case, it was stronger before that candle, but we put in support, right around previous days close. This was around the value area high of the current day. Same for NQ. So you could say that support was being found there, and that you could target point of control on NASDAQ or 5100-ish on ES. But it's still not clear. So until I see a good clear trade that just like makes me pull the trigger, I'm gonna keep holding off. Is there anyone in here that I know? If so, say something in live chat. We can chat it up while I'm waiting here. I'm getting bored. It's not boredom. Once I start getting bored, that's when I start trying to put a trade on. So that also might be a sign that I should leave and be done. This does look more like it's ready to break down. All right, that was a boredom trade. Gave back my gains on the day. That one gets me. That one gets me frustrated. Okay, made up for it so I had the right call on that initial short right there. Golly, I had that right there. Just terrible timing, entry, and yeah, the impetus for me to take the trade was definitely sparked out of boredom. I then was, immediately took heat, and I didn't like where I had my stop. It was just like, I knew it was right around an area that it could test. So I moved it up here, which is like absurd. That's an absurd stop. And then so as it kept going, I closed it. Look where I closed it. Closed literally at the top of that. That's where I took the loss on that NASDAQ trade. The 83. I gave back all my gains. But then, it started putting those wicks right there in that 1 minute, and it looked like that was just it. So I hopped right back in right there, right at like 47, I think, and held to 70. So, and then I also got in on ES 30 and held to like 15. And so I actually ended up making money on that. So now I'm up around 190 per account. And then the one account that's got more is up like 234. So that worked out, but here we are. Now we're breaking down. Man, that timing right there was just wrong. It tells you everything about how important timing is in this game. The entire game is timing. Yeah, and so I had to take those off just for my own sanity, because if it came back up after me, taking that heat, taking that loss, and then turning around and getting it all back, I had to take it right there, which is fine. I mean, those are good trades. I was like 15 points on ES, and that second one was like for 70. Let's see, yeah, like 70 points or so on NASDAQ, 75. And I lost like 80 points on that loss, the first loss. So net minus 5 points on NASDAQ, but net like 15 points on ES. And look, and here we are breaking down now. So my idea was right, and I was saying it did look like it was ready to go. I wasn't patient on it. I needed to see it. I should have waited till I actually saw it go. It makes sense that if you see like this, like bounce higher, that when we get to that trend line and that resistance, it shouldn't be that much of a surprise that we get another little bounce right there. I like it's often you want to expect that breakdown to happen immediately. It doesn't a lot of times. And I feel like this happens to me a lot, where I'm like, I see the trade, but I see it a little too early and I get a little too impatient, and I then have to take heat or take a stop and then have to get back in. Idea was right. Timing was off, but timing is everything. It worked. It looks, if you just look at what I did on ES, that looks much better, because I didn't take that initial test right here of that little trend line, and it bounced, and then I got in. That looks good. I mean, the only thing I could have done better was obviously hold it. But like I said, because VWAP was the obvious target. But like I said, I was, trying to protect my mental capital and not let it come all the way back up again and bounce. So those were good trades, though. In the end, it worked out for me. I'm probably pretty close to being done here. I guess I'll stick around and see if bears can get some real traction going. They might be able to, in which case I might just take it one more. All right. So I took a little bit of a small scalp there. For an extra like 20-30 bucks. Feels like they can definitely, the bulls can take it lower, or excuse me, the bears can take it lower here. At the very least, like VWAP and NQ looks kind of obvious. But let's see, I'm up 200 per account here. A little bit higher in some of these, 248 and one, and so I don't know. I might call it. I felt like I in general traded pretty well. Damn it. I had my mic muted that whole time. Okay, so what I was saying was that I just took another little scalp there for like, $30 or so. So I'm up about 200, a little bit over 200 per account on the day. Here, I'll pull these up. Pull those up. Okay, yeah. So about $200 per account on the day. That's for me, in my book, a good day. I don't even remember what I was saying at this point. I feel like the bears could take us lower, at least target VWAP at the very least for NASDAQ. Yeah, here we go. Feels like acceleration right here for sure. I don't know if I want to stick around though. I think what I was just saying when my mic was muted was that I was about ready to go. When I see it accelerate here though, I'm like, it makes me, want to stick around and look for some more good trades. But I'm gonna think about it here for a second. Overall though, what I was saying was that, I think I did pretty decent today as far as timing my trades. I didn't really take a whole lot of heat besides the one NASDAQ trade. That's it. That was the only one that was bad timing. Every other trade I took, I got in just right and didn't take any heat and got out just right. Some of that was luck. I think a lot of, like I was saying earlier, a lot of those trades I was targeting a lot further than I ended up taking it. But that worked. That worked for me. I took a few little trades that here and there, and I just timed them well. I mean, like that one. Look at that NASDAQ. That was very near the top. If I didn't take that right there, I was definitely going to get stopped out. Obviously, that was the only long in NASDAQ I took. Yeah, I mean, today was it was good trading. I'd say in general, it was pretty good trading. The only trade that I took that was like was any sort of impulse was that one on NASDAQ. But I had the right idea, as you can see. As you can see where it went. I felt like, we sat there and consolidated so long in there. It definitely had that look like it was going to pop higher and target yesterday's point of control. And then I said when we were up there, I said that, okay, this looks like it could be a long, but I need to wait for a good look for an entry. And as I sat there and waited for something that became obvious for an entry, it just completely turned around, at which point the look it doesn't look the same. Look is gone. It doesn't look nearly as bullish, and it also looked like it could have been a lower high, which it was. So it came down here. Once that lower high was put in, that was it. That was the time. It did that for both of them. Lower high, breakdown of that, that little trend line we had, and then breakdown of the support there. Breakdown of support right there. Those are the things that I'm kind of looking at. And obviously stochastics turned down, so momentum was down. Even though we're higher, momentum, it lost all its momentum, and it was turning down. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of the trading I did today. It's not an insane amount of money. There's many people out there that are just crushing, taking full-on minis in this market, making tons and tons of money. There's also plenty of people trying to do that same thing and are getting blown the F out repeatedly. So this is working for me. It's keeping my size real small and just taking my wins and limiting my time in the market. It's working. There's a lot of ways to make money trading, and I taking those big swings. My trading at the moment is not, I can't really do that, or I don't feel confident doing that. That's something to work on, trailing some of these stops maybe, but it's like I don't, and I want to improve, and like that definitely seems like an area of improvement, but another part of me says that I should probably just recognize my style and work and what works for me. And doing trades like this does work for me. So it's that's the other side of that argument. People are like, oh, you gotta cut your stop, keep your, hold on to your winners, cut your losers. Obviously cut your losers. Cut your losers is universal. That one's universal. Everyone should always do that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, exceptions to that at all. But the way you take your entries, the way you take your wins, there's a lot of ways to do that. So, and now it looks like it found some support around there. I don't know. It could definitely go lower. I probably lean towards thinking, if I just had to speculate, I think I would say from here, I'd still lean towards thinking that we go lower, at least test yesterday's RTH lows. That's not that far away. So I would think those would be a pretty obvious area, especially given just the environment. It doesn't seem like China's backing down on the tariff stuff. Yeah, but I think the fact that I'm kind of rambling here, I don't really have a whole lot much more to say. I don't know if I have enough patience at this point to take more trades. I also definitely don't want to give anything back. I've now got, I think this is day 5 on the 6 accounts that I just took the payout on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. It's like these 6. And so I could now just take some flips for 3 more days and take, I don't know, what's that, like a $7,000 or $8,000 payout, which is probably what I'm going to do. Just, take the money when you can. It's definitely my philosophy when it comes to these prop firms. Take the money. Take all the money that you can when you can. I've had plenty of times where I've had the money and just didn't even have to do anything and just kept trading or did something stupid and just gave it back. It's happened enough times that, you know, it freaks me out a little bit. But yeah, so those will be good wins too. And I've still got all these that are constantly building. I just started, you know, I took trades on those 2 accounts that I just took payouts on. I've got those right there, and then I've got more that are just behind that are ready to getting close to payout, and plenty more behind those. So just gonna keep building, keep adding accounts, and gonna hold on to all of them. All right, well, I think that's all I have to say, really. Don't think anybody even came on the stream again today. That's fine. I pretended like they were here, and I tried to trade like it. So I'll be back tomorrow.